Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this exciting program of the Good Governance Hour. I hope you had a nice time during the past week, especially celebrating the eve of the Easter. Welcome again to this program. Today, we have an exciting guest who will be trading tackles on the issue of the politics and the states of the nation today, right here with us. We have a special, very formidable guest. I call him the man of the people, and I call him also the grassroots performer. He's not a person. Dan, the distinguished Right Honorable Uzon Azubike. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you. Good morning, listener.
Thank you so much, sir. He was the former member of the House of Reps by North and South constituency, former deputy speaker, and also a former commissioner for agriculture, the Southeast coordinator National Forum of Former Legislators, chairman of the Sulu Airport Landowners Forum, and an APC chieftain. He is also a chairman, House of Reps Committee on Petition. What a very solid portfolio, sir. With all this, I think I should doff my cap for you, sir.
Well, all to the glory of God.
It shows that you're a man of resilience.
All to the glory of God.
Yes, you are such a man of resilience. You don't, you are, I mean, a man who has this flaccid attitude to deliver services to the people.
Well, we live and operate by grace.
Oh, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to the program. So, sir, now you are an APC chieftain, and you have been in the system for so long. Now, how would you want to, firstly, how do you want to see you want to score the works of the party, especially starting from the federal to the state, in the course of the works and services they've been giving to the people? And how do you think the impactation of the services has really impacted the life of the people?
In law, we say res ipsa loquitur. A fact speaks for itself. And traditionally, we say the taste of the pudding is in the eating. When somebody licks odara, another person eats what do you call it? Bitter cola.
Yes.
The expressions on the face shows how it tastes. Assessing the parties, I can only fall back on the reaction of Nigerians, not necessarily the man on the street. If you look at the traffic into APC, you know that it's a validation of the performance of APC.
Okay.
Everybody knows where we came from. Placing particular emphasis on the government of Tinubu. Before he came in May 2023, Nigeria was economically pariah. We got so low that nations were refusing to lend us money. Refusing to lend. We became impecunious as a nation. We could not even trade. That our central bank resorted to minting, arbitrary and random minting of money if they needed to pay salary, because they cannot get from where they cannot borrow, they don't sell to get. Emefiele will go and mint, which devalued our naira to zero. Of course, that is why the man is in prison today. They will mint naira and use it to go and buy dollar. And thanks. Before May 29th, 2023, 90% of the states in Nigeria, state governments, could not pay salaries. They were in arrears. People were complaining about Abia, maybe because they didn't follow up, that it was not peculiar with Abia. No state in Nigeria could confidently pay salaries. except maybe a state like Rivers, maybe a state like Delta, a state like Lagos, that had surplus internal generation of revenues. 90%, if not 95% of the states, where ONI could not pay salaries.
So why are you saying, sir?
So,
yes, sir.
As it is today,
Yes, sir.
There is no state in Nigeria.
Okay, sir.
That's also what people mistake about what is happening in Abia.
Okay.
There is no state in Nigeria today that is not able, and in fact, that is not paying salaries. Payment of salary is no longer by struggle. Every state gets enough.
Okay.
Because of the hard work, the industry of the APC government at the center, and their fairness in distribution of those revenues to the states indiscriminately. Today, Nigeria is no longer looking for who to borrow money from. If Nigeria needs money, they readily get, because it has become a productive nation. Our external reserves have risen so high that today Nigeria has international collaterals. There is no nation in the world that is not owing. Even America. America is the worst debtor nation in the world. America that is dashing money to people. Because there are so many reasons why you may not need to pay cash. But you should have a collateral which lies in your foreign reserve. Your foreign reserve comes as a result of international trade and foreign exchange.
Okay.
Our naira went down to zero, that nobody could project again. You could no longer budget. In fact, one white man that once came to my office when I was a commissioner of Africa said Nigeria became ungoverned. He said ungoverned, free for all. But today, businesses are beginning to thrive because there is stability in the exchange rate as a result of consistent economic activities and policies of the government of the day, the APC government. That today, the dollar, for instance, is pinned around 1314.
Yeah.
You can now make projections. An economic situation where you cannot make projections cannot allow for production. You cannot plan.
Okay.
So, to that extent, I would say that the APC government at the center has done so well, and to the glory of God, it has affected all other tiers of government.
Okay.
Now, apart from that, I say when you lick Kodara and when you lick, when you eat bitter cola, or you eat Osonji,
Yes, sir.
the expression on your face will tell people that this thing is sweet or it is not sweet.
Okay.
Now, at the commencement of this government in 2023,
3.
APC was almost running neck to neck with PDP, for instance. That was then the major opposition.
Yeah.
On number of states it controlled. But today, APC has a landslide control of 34 states out of 36. 32 governors. 2 states that are 99.9% APC. Anambra, Osun states. The governor of Anambra is Abga. But openly and publicly, and you know, is a renowned financial expert,
Yeah.
former central bank governor.
Exactly.
Openly endorsing Tinubu and his policies and supporting him. The governor of Osun, who left from PDP, went to a court and has said, my support for Tinubu is 100%. And the truth is that there is no governor in Nigeria today, no governor, that is not supporting Tinubu. The reason is that he has washed the faces of the governors by ensuring that there is enough revenue given to the states. Not only that they generate it, the federal government generates it and distributes it in such a manner that every state gets enough to meet its basic responsibilities. So to that extent, I will tell you that the APC government, particularly under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has done excellently well, and that is why everybody is embracing it. In the National Assembly, out of 109 senators, as at the last count, when they started, it was a difference of 3-4 senators between PDP and APC, that they needed a kind of alliance to get to elect APC leadership.
Exactly.
But today, as a last count, out of 109, there were 97 APC senators. People who came in under APC, under PDP, have gone. Even people who were blown in by the Obi wind through Labour Party, almost 90% of them, 99% of them have moved into APC because it's a moving trend.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your breakdown for us. You have just said something very critical. You said the coming in of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made so much revamp in the system, especially trying to change and facilitate the system effectively. Now, the question is, you just said something about the defection, the wave of defection from the politicians. Now, sir, with this the defection wave, I have to say, does it not look as if that this is a form of getting a second term favoritism from His Excellency so that they can be able to return back in the forthcoming 2027 elections? Because most of them have around 110 are expected to run again for the second term. So don't you feel this on your mandate restart is as a result of coming back for the second time so that they can run and then win for the 2027 election, because they know very well that the ruling party has a more stand and say, especially when it comes to the political divergence of statistics and political play.
You have just mixed up issues.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can sort them out.
Okay.
Let me start by telling you that Tinubu's regime is not the first government at the center.
Okay.
And the kind of mass movement towards the APC and towards him,
okay,
which you admit is unprecedented,
okay,
did not happen in the past,
okay,
when other presidents were in power.
Okay.
That means that there is something, there is a magnet in him that is attracting those people. Remember that defection is never by compulsion. We are running a multi-party democratic constitutional system.
Okay.
But people voluntarily dismantle their parties. They dismantle their political parties. Some of the parties dissolve on their own, dissolution, like what happened in USSR in the time of Gorbachev, when he introduced his perestroika and glasnost, the wind of change.
Yes.
That resulted in having a president without a country.
Yeah.
Each component withdrew, and the country was still standing.
Yeah.
So, those people elected into offices through other political formations, political parties, must have seen something different, something peculiar, something special that the APC under President Ahmed Tinubu is doing, that makes them abandon their political parties. If you say they come to seek refuge, that means they have seen that the APC stature today is strong enough to shield anybody. And if that is why they move, that is good. That is positive. It means that the wind they see blowing is such that they are convinced that they cannot survive if they don't hide, like the songwriter said, the Rock of Ages, to go and cleft under the stone.
It's okay.
So that is it. It's not a compulsion. It's a voluntary movement by people who are convinced. And mind you that these are informed people. They are not people on the street.
Okay.
They are not I don't want to call any particular group that will just hell. They are people who are exposed to government, the workings of government, and in their own analysis, they are convinced that this APC government has done so well, and that they are doing it strategically. They have put up a sustainability plan that will make it difficult for anybody to dismantle them. And so on their own, they say instead of hiding under this, what will you call, shelter, instead of hiding under a makeshift political party, so to say, let us go and hide under the APC. If that is their reason, that is good. But I also want you to know that many governors who are already enjoying their second term, that have no fear, many senators who have gone so many times, that should have no fear, even if they don't go again, voluntarily go to join APC. So that will tell you that the issue of the movement, gravitation towards the APC is not momentary. Okay. It is fundamental. Okay. And it is founded on people's conviction. Our people say, if you are going to the toilet to urinate in the night, and you come out in the parlor, and the urine comes out, you still need to go to the toilet? No, you turn and go back to your bed and lie down.
Okay, sir. Now I want to ask these questions before we go on the break, sir. Now, the fact is, every party has a common interest of what they want to achieve as a party. Now, apart from the party's interest, now you also have the politicians also have their own self-interest of why they have joined the party. Now, with this electoral policy that has been made by INEC, that you cannot be able to defect a party after you have become a member of the party. Now, if after joining the party, like for most of them who have defected to the All Progressive Congress, after joining this party, and their thoughts or aspirations were not being met in the course of the goal and of joining the party, don't you see don't you feel that there's going to be a problem because of how do you think such people can be settled? And don't you also see that there's going to be a problem within the party system because when their self-interests are not met joining these parties, and at the end they were not at the forefront of the political alignment or movement that is being done, don't you think there's going to be a fallout in the party? There's going to be a factional disputes in the party system, sir?
So many issues again you have raised. I'll also try to sift them. Taking the issue of people's individual ambition or expectation in joining a party. I believe that anybody who is joining a party would know that that party was existing before he came. He would know that people were in that party. He will also know that those people in that party had their ambition, and they maintained their party to such a standard that it was appealing to him to, even though he was in a good position already, to leave it and say, let me go here and join. Of course, when you join the line. You look at the rules governing that line, and you join where you fall. You know, in politics, there's what we call seniority.
Exactly.
There is seniority in politics.
Exactly.
Now, for instance, under both APC, PDP constitution, I don't know about much of the other party because I don't think a party like Labour has constitution. I don't think. So, under the constitution of these constituted and consolidated parties, we know. Okay. For instance, I am a former member of the National Assembly and a former deputy speaker. That's a former principal officer. Both under PDP, under APC, I am a member of the state caucus. I'm a member of the zonal caucus. I am automatically a member of the convention of the party. Automatically. So even if you are the one that registered the party and you didn't have this privilege of getting to this level, if I come in, I will follow where the constitution has placed me and I will mix up immediately.
There will be an alignment.
Exactly. Okay. But when it comes to ambition, getting ticket, you look at the constitutional requirement. What does a person need to have to qualify for this office he is looking for? And you know that you are not the only one that has qualified. There have been this, I have been that. But when it comes to, for instance, you want to go to the House of Reps, there are other people who are also qualified to go to the House of Reps. And if I'm leaving my party and joining this other party, where those people have patiently waited and expecting that they will run on the ticket of that party, I should be ready to expect a competition. It's natural. Okay. I should expect that in a democratic process, so anybody can emerge. Okay. Or somebody else can emerge. If you're a sitting member, for instance, a non-performing sitting member, in a political party.
Yes.
And because you see that APC is everywhere and everybody is going to APC, and Tinubu has done so well that people are going to vote APC, you now say, no, let me go and join them. When you come into APC, APC has a process of choosing their candidates. You submit yourself to those processes of selection of candidates.
Okay.
The screening, if it is a consensus, the stakeholders, if all the stakeholders agree and say, look, it should be you, though you just came, definitely it will be you. But if all the stakeholders feel, no, even you are in this constituency and we know that you have not delivered on your mandate, even in your former party, you didn't perform well. You know, a person performing well will be known by all. It doesn't matter which party. Even if the man is not in your party, you still say, oh, though he's not a member of my party, he's doing well. Exactly. So if you're not doing well, people will know you're not doing well. It's just like somebody we sent to the National Assembly in Aba, for instance, and he went there to eat snail and fight taxi drivers and call himself a senator of the Federal Republic just to pride himself, when we know that we sent him as a member of House Representatives. And there is no evidence of any performance. We've not seen him in the chambers of the House presenting any issue affecting our constituency. For instance, if he likes, he joins APC, people will challenge him in APC, and APC will disclaim him. And if he goes to any other party, it's also expected that that party will say, no, you have not done well. So that is on that. Now, there is no rule in INEC that has stopped anybody from defecting. Defection is a constant. INEC does not regulate defection. It is section 68(1)(g) of the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria that regulates defection. Yes. And it has given the condition where your party, there is conflict in your party, there is factionalization, or where there is a merger of your party and another party. And you may decide not to join them in that merger. And you now say, no, I'm not joining, you go to another place. So that thing is there. But what INEC has just said is, looking at what happened previously, that people will stay in APC or in PDP and contest primaries. And once they lose, the next day, you now see them flying the flag of another party for the same election. The electoral, I think section 76, section 84. I think section 84. Made it clear that every political party should submit their register not later than 30 days before their primaries. So that means that 30 days to that primaries, if you have not joined that party, the presumption is that your name could not have been in their register. But the aberration of the past was that you see somebody who contests the primary, when he loses, and the next day he's flying the flag of another party, and you begin to wonder, how did he get there? The registers have already been submitted to INEC. And INEC said there cannot be dual registration. It's not even INEC, it is the new electoral act by the National Assembly. So what it means is that, you know, previously, people will carry, starting from the days of SDP and the NRC, people will carry the green card and the black card. You say, when you come to the house, you say, which party are you? Are you APC? Are you SDP? You say yes, they bring your card. You say, are you an NRC? They bring your card. People used to register, especially now that they're doing online registration. There will be no doubt that some people will take APC card online and take Labour card online and maybe take ADC if ADC survives, which is most unlikely event that ADC survives. Somebody carries that card. Then, but the INEC now has given a deadline for submission of register. They just extended it. For submission of party registers. So what it means is that once it is submitted, your name cannot be in the two. If you're carrying the card of one party, definitely you cannot carry the card of another. But if you did this dual registration, once you present it here, you are stuck. You can no longer bring the other one. So it's not that you cannot defect. You can always defect, but you must meet the requirement of the Constitution. Unfortunately, there is no enforcement in Nigeria. Because if there was enforcement, for instance, Senator Abaribe left his party, ABGA, there is no conflict, there is no faction in ABGA. It does not meet the standard of section 68(1)(g), though he said his party expelled him. If his party expelled him, I don't know what the explanation would be in that. Then what would you say of Ikwechegh from Aba, who also left ABGA? Did ABGA also expel him? Then, if your party expelled you, that means your party is saying you did not perform well, you're not performing well. Do you understand?
Yes.
That is the marketing. So should any other party receive you for that purpose? So that is the thing. If there was enforcement, proper enforcement of our laws, the proper thing was to declare the seats
Vacant.
of these defecting people
Vacant.
vacant, except they can give a satisfactory and satisfying explanation
Why they had
why
vacant.
they cannot, yes, be their seats
no
cannot
longer
be
in the
declared vacant, because the records we have show that those parties they are moving from do not have factions and they have no crisis,
Okay, sir.
and they are not involved in any merger.
Okay. So, sir, I want to ask now. Let's come back to the state of Abia. From 2012, from 1999 to now, we've had one system party running the affairs of the state. Until recently, in 2023, we had the turnaround, the change, and the Labour Party came into power. And how do you see from 1999 till now the course of the leadership from that time till now and the present leadership? How can you be able to compare the two? And what do you see the state of the politics of today in the nearest future come 2027?
One constant in Abia politics from 1999 till date is that it is violence free. We don't do political violence in Abia. We can talk. All sides can talk. But recently we are beginning to hear people issue threats.
Okay.
That is not like us, and there is nothing warranting it. And I will call on all parties, all sides, to desist from issuing such threats. We don't need to hit up the system. After all, the essence of government is to provide good life for the people.
Exactly.
The people party A wants to lead, and the people party B also wants to lead. So we cannot move in a manner that will endanger their lives. Security of life and property welfare, they are the cardinal objectives of government under the Constitution. So having said that, you cannot compare orange with mango.
Okay.
When somebody goes to the market and you want to assess him, the first thing you ask is not how many things did you bring back. The first question you ask is how much did he go with?
Okay.
It is what you went to market with that will determine what you expected to come back with. If you go to market without money and you come, your baskets are full, you must have stolen somebody's goods. You're a thief. You should not be celebrated. But if you go to the market and you're giving all the money and are supposed to buy a bag of rice and you buy 50 cups and come back, you cannot say because the man that the woman that went to buy market before me bought 5 cups, you should celebrate that I have 50 cups. If the man that went before you had money for 5 cups and bought 5 cups, then that person has scored 100.
Okay.
And you now go to market, you have money for 1 bag, and you come back with 50 cups, then you have scored less than 25%. So you can't compare it. There are things that are confusing people in Abia in particular.
Okay.
Before now, yes, there are things government has done. I will come to that. Before now, 90% of states, for instance, in Nigeria, were not able to meet up with their financial responsibilities, resulting in arrears of salaries and all kinds of things. Yes. But now, no state is owing. So if Abia is paying, the credit does not go to Abia. Do you understand?
Okay.
Because payment of salary has become a standard because the resources are available to all. So you isolate that one. Okay. You now look at infrastructure. And you ask yourself, how much did the previous people get? A government that had no money to as much as pay salaries, okay, wouldn't have money to build infrastructure. Okay. So if they managed and they built anything as they really did, definitely they are commendable. So the only way you can assess all the governments is to have the statistics, the data of what resources are available to all those regimes.
But these same states also built, they also generated internal generated revenues in their states. So what did they use these revenues to do?
No.
You cannot say that.
That will tell you that those previous regimes actually did well.
Okay.
Because if they did not as much as have money to pay salaries and they were able to build infrastructure,
Okay.
That will tell you that they were leveraging on some other sources of revenue. And that must have been the IGR. And today, everything has grown. The IGR has grown. The level of tax we pay has grown. The sources of the IGR have increased. And the money coming from the center, which most states are waiting for, most states depend on that. And that's not what it's supposed to be. The money is such that after each state has paid salary, there is no state today that is not adding to their infrastructure. There is no state.
Okay.
So the only way you can do is isolate each of the states. Isolate Abia and say, okay, in the first 3 years of Ojo Zokalo, how much did he get? In the first 3 years of D.A. Orji, how much did he get? In the first 3 years of Okezie, how much did he get? And in the first 3 years of Dr. Alex Oti, how much did he get? It's only when you have those statistics before you that you now begin to ask the second question. How much work did they do?
Okay, but if you watch it, sir, in the last 2 years of His Excellency Dr. Alex Chamoti, we have been able to see a wide span of jobs and works he has done, commissioning of roads.
Can you just be specific?
Yes, commission of roads.
Be specific.
The roads he has been commissioned.
Yes, be specific.
Yes, and also trying to bring in for the people the Abia shuttle and every other thing, also ensuring that
are you aware that the Abia shuttle is a national program?
Okay.
That there is no state that does not have it.
Okay.
There is a government effort to bring alternative to using the fossil fuels.
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
Of course.
So you should know that many of the things we celebrate are the reason people are running to Tinubu. And that they are the reason no governor is challenging Tinubu, no governor is opposing him. Because most of those things are done directly.
So are you saying,
by
sir,
the federal government? Are
you saying very much, sir? If you look at it right now, what would you now say? Are you saying that there have been no much works done by the present government? Well, how would you give them? What would be your scorecard?
For the present
government?
No. I'm not in a position to provide anybody's scorecard here.
Okay.
It is the man who owns the scorecard that should produce it.
Okay.
It's the man that will say, within this period, I got to this amount.
Okay.
And this and this and that are what I have been able to do with it.
Okay.
Because I do not have those information.
Okay.
And I cannot pick information from the social media.
Okay.
All I know is that generally, there is massive increase in revenues accruing to the states.
Okay.
All I need is that on the average, every state today is able to execute their projects. Every state today is able to pay their salaries. For any particular state to get special accolades, they must show something different that they have done over and above other states.
Okay.
And not comparing itself backwards with your predecessors, whose circumstances are different from the circumstances of today. In the time of Buhari, I told you that Nigeria got so low that nations were refusing to lend us money. We got so low that we resorted to minting money if we wanted to pay salary. Federal government then was paying in percentage, just like state government was paying in percentage. In this month, they will pay 5%, 15%, 20%, like that. But today, it is not so generally. So we cannot be myopic and limit ourselves to Abia State and say yesterday in the time of Ibazo, there were arrears of salary, today there is none. No, you say today. Because when there was arrears of salary in Azuta, there was arrears of salary in Imo.
Of course.
There was in Ebonyi. There was everywhere. But you say today, there's no arrear of salary in Abia. There's no arrear in Imo. There's none in Ebonyi. There is none in any state in Nigeria. So that will tell you that the solution did not come from the management of resources in the state, but that is a general thing that is coordinated by the APC government at the center. And that is why, of course, you don't need to wonder why no governor is fighting against Tinubu.
Okay, sir, you talked about this, the state, because you are really a chieftain who is strongly in support of the APC party. Now, in the state, we have seen a very good coordination in recent times. I was in Aba North, when the INEC came. If you can remember, people did a lot of good jobs trying to coordinate yourself together and get your those candidates. That's where you should vie for the election. Now, in recent times, we've been seeing this thriving news. Benjamin Kalu, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, coming out and saying that they will ensure that they will take over the party, and also Honorable Senator Ojo Kalu also coming out also to say. Now, I want to ask this question. Are there factions between these two because they are coming out differently? I'm not saying in one accord in the system, because I know that now that the system have been organized, they have really taken form and shape to really pull the 2027 election. But are you still seeing a thriving differences, confrontation between these two political warheads, because they are not giving in to each other? As of yesterday, we're hearing that Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu is going to run for the governorship election for Abia. Is that a certain story that what do you think about what is going on?
Well, I don't know on which mirror you are seeing the frictions, because I see synergy. Before now, Oji, Carlo, Ben Carlo, Ikechi
Menike, yes.
Nkiro Nyojocha will not sit together in one meeting. In fact, up to sometime last month, before we started that Congress that was stopped,
yes,
and scheduled for 1 week,
yes,
there was no synergy. When you ask yourself, what happened? Now, within a space of 7 days, we came back and everybody was smiling.
Exactly.
And all the people were sitting together. And we brought out all the offices and we shared them happily, peacefully, harmoniously.
Okay.
And we danced together. So that's what you ask yourself. We did an introspection and came to realize that the interest of the party must be placed over and above personal interest and ambitions.
Okay. Okay.
And that for anybody to win election, the party must act together. And so we found a peaceful way of returning power to the people. Because what used to cause conflict in the party, and that's still the conflict the other parties have today, is a number of people like to get power and pocket it.
Okay.
And now dish it like their own ration. Somebody will stay in his house and decide who becomes party chairman in Aba, who becomes party chairman in Arochukwu, who becomes party chairman in Okwa. You can't be in those three places. What we did is to say, let each people now go home and decide how they run themselves. I thank God that you said you were there in Aba North.
Yes.
You saw that what we do, we had 4 major promoters.
Yes.
My humble self,
yes.
Right Honorable Azubike, we had Prince Paul Ikone.
Yes.
Uzodike Ron just joined our party that week.
Yes.
We took him in fully. And we had them blessing Waba.
Yes.
And we said, okay, we have 12 wards in Aba North. Blessing, coordinate 3. Prince Paul, coordinate 3. Uzodike, coordinate 3. Uzazubike, coordinate 3. Coordination, supervision. And the stakeholders of each of those wards went home to go and structure themselves. They know who can rule them in their party, in their ward, and they return them to us. Where there was any conflict, any complaint, like any stakeholder who felt not carried along, that's the supervision we provided. We'll now come in and now ask them, go back, bring this person in. That is the secret of the harmony that we have. And of course, you know that it was escalated to the LG, from the ward to the LG, to the state. The day of the state Congress, first thing done was to allot the offices, to Abia North, Abia Central, Abia South. Then in Abia North, they know what they got. They now go home among themselves. Ojo Okalu, His Excellency, had his slots, the people he will manage. Chief Ben Carlo had. Then other stakeholders, according to their local government. They have 6 local governments in that place. And they make sure that every local government got positions. We joined the state positions with the zonal positions and shared them. And each one you get, you go like in Aba North. So we got 3 slots. Yes, we came back home. We got the state woman leader. We came back home and decided who will be our state woman leader, who will be our zonal publicity secretary, who will be the special leader too, and all that. So there is that synergy in Abia State. That is what has given them confidence.
And do you think
yes, that's what has given OUK, Ben Carlo, Kiro Nyojocha, Henrico, call any of them, anybody. The confidence come out and say, look, we are taking over Abia in 2027.
And do you see it, sir? I want to ask this question directly to you. From your analysis and the party's coordinations and strategy for the forthcoming election, do you see the APC party taking over Abia come 2027 election? That you see them giving a good run for the money for the incumbent governor, who is also a strong member of the Labour Party? Because you said something that the Labour Party never had a constitution. And do you think that they are not coordinated? They are not waiting for the forthcoming 2027 elections to
No,
give the result to other parties?
my making reference to Labour Party constitution is an overall.
Okay.
Because I'm not in Labour Party.
Okay.
I'm not in a position to say this is what their constitution says or not.
Okay.
Yes. But if you talk about the possibilities, which I will tell you will be the realities of 2027.
Okay.
You know, but for God confusing the language of men, they would have succeeded in building the Tower of Babel up to heaven.
Yes.
Once people are united, there is no limit. The last thing people expected from APC this time was to have unity. Let me tell you, that was one of the things that discouraged the governor from joining APC. Because he was a member of APC, a top leader and respected member of APC.
Yes.
Before he went here.
Yeah.
But the discord within the party, no man bowing to the other, no one agreeing with the other, was why he went to Labour. So the last thing anybody would have expected was that so soon APC will come together. That will tell you that there's the hand of God in it. Something is happening. If suddenly people who never agreed can now come together with all their heart and embrace peace, share their offices peacefully, where anybody complained. For instance, when we zoned the state secretary to Umuahia,
yes.
You know, Abia Central, Umuahia got it, Ikuan not got it, and all those, His Excellency Audios Okalo said, no, it's my right to appoint the secretary. They allowed him come from Abia North and choose an Umuahia North man, or sorry, an Ikuan North man as the secretary. And there was peace, and we still achieved that distribution and all that. So, with that kind of unity we have, my man, nobody needs to tell you that APC is taking over the state.
Thank you so much.
Because you compare this with what is happening in other parties.
Okay.
The smaller parties are disagreeing. Labour is still in court.
Yeah.
They're still in court.
Okay.
Whether it is Abure or the other group, they're still there. The ADC that people thought would bring some wind.
Yeah.
Even me, I fear that there will be some wind. It's in total disarray. The ADC today, they have no leadership with INEC. Because INEC gave order,
yes,
and all of them were expunged.
But we got information that the APC has a hand in the spoiler of the ADC party, because right now we are seeing what is happening.
That is very ridiculous. That is the highest show of weakness and unseriousness by a party.
Okay,
do you understand? A party that is gathering to fight the incumbent to take over from them are turning around to say, "Oh, those who wanted to remove are the ones who have scattered our party."
Yeah, because they came and said that the APC is afraid of the coalition that the ADC is having, and because of this fear,
that will tell
they
you,
have to do this.
That will tell you that there was no coalition in the first instance. Do you understand?
Okay.
If there is no coherence among them, that APC can come in. No, let's concede that APC can come in and scatter them. That means that they don't have the leg to dismantle APC. That's what it means. But their problem is internal. They're on a suicide mission. They went and hired a vehicle with a damaged engine from two angles. This one they're doing is internal to them all.
Okay.
Some of them resigned, and this man said, "Look, by our constitution, I didn't resign." Of course, nobody can resign for the other.
Okay.
And they have seen that it is true. I read David Mark saying either yes, he does so, or at least within this week, that he will step aside so that the man who resigned will come and lead them to convention. They are in total disarray. Their greater problem is that there is a suit in court filed by us, the National Forum of Former Legislators. I coordinate the Southeast.
Yes.
Looking at Section 225A of the Constitution, that has stated the condition for any political party to remain after elections. You must win 25% in at least one state. Because there are national parties in presidential election,
okay,
or one member in the National Assembly. You must have 25% in at least one local government in a governorship election in one state.
Okay.
You must have one in one ward in a local government election or a councillor. And the Constitution says if you don't, you should be deregistered. And in 2022, 74 political parties were deregistered. And the ADC and 4 other political parties, the Accord Party, the AA, the Zenith Labour Party, the Zenith Labour Party, the APP, never met that condition. And the Supreme Court interpreted that section and said that those provisions, provisions, yes, you must meet all of them. You cannot
Don't you
isolate
think
them.
that the petition
So
that was
we
made-
have gone to court.
Yeah,
we
don't
have
you-
gone to
don't
court
you
to
think
say these people must also be deregistered. All we expect them to do now is to bring the 2023 election results, bring whichever one, and show that no, we met the standard of the constitution. That constitution was not made by Tinubu. It's the constitution of Nigeria, not electoral act.
Okay.
It was already there before Tinubu came in.
Yeah.
It was there before APC was formed.
Okay.
So it was not meant for anybody.
Don't you think
And
that
if they are in violation of it,
Yes.
definitely the constitution will take its effect and the parties will be deregistered. They hired that party, remember. They didn't form it. It's a vehicle. You want to hire a vehicle, you go and hire a vehicle with a bad engine.
Okay.
And we have gone to tell them, say, look, now there is time. And I've given them that advice because my masters are there, as a matter of fact. Hurriedly go and hire a healthy vehicle. You can't buy one now. Luckily for them, they just incorporated 2 new political parties, one by Sirake, Dixon, and the other one. You can go and negotiate with them and move your things into that place. Because when it is very late, in the middle of the night of this political exercise, they realize that that vehicle cannot move. That means that everybody will be stranded.
like I just said, sir, you just said something that was very, very paramount. You said you went to court and you took them to court. Don't you think this court taking because of this particular clause was the spoiler that did it just to the ADC people? Because right now the party is in disarray and every one of them trying to see how they can, even the
No. In the court,
is still trying to see how
I
they
will
can
tell
get
you, I go to court.
Yes.
I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I appear in that matter.
Okay.
I follow it. There are a retinue of senior advocates. ADC has many senior advocates. The people who feel more endangered are the Accord party people.
Okay.
Because Adeleke is already running for governorship in Osun. And you know that he's an independent supporter of Tinubu. But his Accord party is affected. And they are doing everything. In fact, their lawyer lamented in court the last time. He said they were already celebrating that we omitted them. Because they know that is the law. And we have brought them here now. So what they are doing, they're taking steps to challenge the competence of the suit and the parties and all that, those technical areas. Okay. No, it's not APC is scattering them. It is the duty of APC. Yes, if we have a way of making all Nigerians to be in APC, we will do that. Let all Nigerians join APC if they want, while not removing their constitutional right to belong to other political parties. So it is an individual decision.
Okay. Don't you see that this electoral policy that was given by the National Assembly over the defection of members, don't you think it's going to really affect other parties who are trying to merge, who are trying to, emerge, to really give a good run for the money to the ruling party come 2027, especially now that we have only few parties, and these few parties that are on ground are having their internal crisis? Don't you see that is at the end of the day, it's just going to be few parties that will come to the polls to challenge the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, come 2027? Which should be that there should be a multi-party system, because the system is a multi-party system.
No. If you talk about,
don't you think they're trying to bring it down to become a one-party system?
No. You see, when you talk about system, it's a legal issue.
Okay.
The Constitution has allowed people to form as many parties as possible. That's what makes it a multi-party system. There is no legal regulation limiting the number of political parties. So in this circumstance, that constitutional right is still there. But if people are not able to organize themselves, that is their own failure. You cannot blame it on any other party. What is happening in those parties is their own, I will call it suicide. They are on suicide mission. They are drinking their own poison. And you cannot blame your neighbor for not coming to rescue you when you are planning to go and kill your neighbor after drinking that you want to drink, and the thing is killing you. So that is exactly what is happening. We still have a multi-party system in Nigeria, and those parties are there. It's not another party that will come and organize them internally.
But we are not seeing them being fielded.
It is their duty. It is their duty to organize themselves. It is APC that organizes itself. Over the years, from the inception of APC in Abia, for instance, there has been bickering and quarrel.
Yeah, exactly.
But within a space of 7 days, we were able to come together. People didn't come into it. We were able to come together and organize ourselves. Now, we are moving into the next stage, primaries. So many people have indicated everybody wants to run an APC. But the fact that there will be no quarrel, because we will also find a peaceful way of selecting one candidate. Ben Kalu will be running. It will not stop other candidates who want to run, other aspirants who want to run from running.
For those aspirants who
Mascot Uzokalo
Yes.
has informed me
yes,
that he's interested.
yes,
Henrico has informed me
Yes.
that he's interested.
yes.
Even Ben has not informed me.
But that's
You
obvious.
understand? But everybody knows that Ben is running.
Running.
Because Ben is serving at the center and needed some clearance.
Yes.
And he just got that clearance. Please, you're free to go and run.
Okay.
That is not automatic ticket to Ben. So if at the end of the exercise, our party nominates another person, that person will fly the flag. But if it is Ben that emerges, definitely Ben will fly the flag of the
But
party.
if for
And
those,
all of us,
Yes.
with the unity we have now, will work for him.
So
and
for
we can
those-
assure you that we will deliver what the people of Babylon almost delivered,
Yeah.
who are building Babel.
Babel.
Yes.
So for the last question before we go on the break, sir. Now the question I wanted to ask is, for those of them who are going to run for the primary elections, if at the end of the primaries they did not win the primaries, are there going to be compensations for these members at the end of it all, so that after the elections or before the elections, they one way or the other they will be settled, so that at least they can the continuity of the party will continue to thrive?
Well, I will tell you that I'm not running the party. Like me, I'm running by the grace of God for Aba North and Aba South Federal Constituency.
Okay.
And I do not expect that I will be the only aspirant. There are other aspirants, my brothers, who are also qualified.
Okay.
So, but one way or the other, the party has a mechanism of narrowing down to one person.
Okay.
And I pray that it is me. If it is not me and it's somebody else, I'm going to support that person. There's no special compensation that you will expect, because to run for primaries is to indicate that you are willing
Of course.
to fly the flag of the party.
Yes.
You'll be very foolish. You'll be very stupid to think that because you said you want to fly it, it must be you.
Okay.
If everybody adopts that spirit, that's what is happening in those other parties. Everybody wants to be to lead. No, that's not what it is. So nobody will tell you that you are going to be compensated because you indicated interest to run in the primaries of the party. You should know that one flag, 3 persons, only one person will get it. The other 2 will not. They will wait for the next time. That is why times are limited. By the time you finish, next time they may even have to beg that person to come and run. So that is it. Nobody will stay. I'm not in the party, but I don't see any party coming to promise you that because you contested for primaries in the party and you were not chosen, it's not that you lost. You must be compensated. What kind of compensation is that? Be a party man, work hard. By the time the party wins the governorship of the state, say for instance Abia, 17 chairmanship positions have been created, secured for the party.
Okay.
17 deputy chairmen have been secured. Okay. 184 councillorship positions. Supervisors, 5 times 184. Commissioners, such number as the governor will want to have. Federal appointments that will come from everywhere to your state will now be managed in your state. Before now, we were not managing the appointments that were coming to Abia State. Somebody somewhere else was in charge of Abia and will determine who will get what in Abia. But if we're able to work hard, you've lost here, yes, that makes you to be known. That establishes you as a stakeholder in the party, as a party strongman. Then those opportunities come anywhere you fit into. Whoever are in charge of it, then the way we are doing things, harmoniously, peacefully, and giving everyone his due, will ensure that something gets to you. But you can't go and stay in your house and decide that because I tried to be senator and I didn't go through, I must be minister. There will be 3 senatorial zones. Yes. Even if it is one person losing in each zone in the primaries, that means 3 persons. But I assure you that, like in Abia South today, I have 5 persons that have informed me that they are running for the Senate of Abia South. So that means that if one person is nominated, the other 4 will not be nominated. And they go and work. And so those 4, assuming that there are no other zones, and there's one ministerial position for Abia, none of those 4 will go and claim or presume in his house that it's certainly coming to him.
Thank you so much, sir. We will go for a short break, and when we return, we will continue with our talk. It's really exciting because Right Honorable Uzo Azubike is really giving us some really detailed information of what we need to know about the state of the politics of the nation and of our state of Abia. Thank you. When we return, we'll continue with our distinguished guest in the studio. The state of the politics of the nation and of our state, Abia. We still have in our presence, in our midst, in the studio, Right Honorable Uzo Azubike, who has been giving us so much detailed information Thank you, sir, for still being with us.
Okay.
Like what we just said, when we look at the state of the nation, and now, how have you been able to see this the issue of the Nsulu landowners of the airport? We had the last time where, because you are the chairman of Nsulu Airport landowners, the last time the owners were coming and agitating for the settlement of the lands by the government of Abia State, and they said that they had done some completion of that compensation. What do you see about this? Is there any form of realities to this? Because we still hear some aggravating rounds of statements by these landowners that they have not yet been met, that demands have not been yet been met, and yet this airport commencement construction has already started. Is there any realities to these talks?
First, I am a land owner. All my family land are in that place.
Okay.
And when this project started, in the face of my time constraints, I live more in Abuja.
Okay.
I realized the government was not following the proper steps. By the day they flagged off on the 17th of December, 2024, they have not even marked out the area they were going to acquire. And so we realized the government was not following the proper process of acquisition, and I stepped in. But I thank God that at the end of the day, government came back and started following due process with the people participating. We started with cutting of traces,
okay,
to know the area you're talking about. Because it's only after cutting the traces that you can know who owns land in that place.
Yes.
Some people went and formed themselves into landowners then. You cannot know if your land is there or not. Like the man who said he was already there, very much in that he didn't have any land in that place. He doesn't have land there today. So after cutting traces, they now did the enumeration, Operation Show Your Land.
Okay.
I came home, I went to my village in the bush and showed them on my own land. And the measurements were taken, they did the enumeration, okay, and all that. Okay. And after that, they now brought out the lists. And we agreed on payment. Of course, they cannot pay everybody the same day. Yes. We agreed that they will start with the people whose lands are on the airport road, okay, which is not part of the airport acquisition.
Acquisition, okay.
So they were paid about 46 landowners. Okay. They were paid.
Okay.
Thereafter, they now paid those on the wrong way.
Okay.
The whole area acquired initially was 1,830 hectares.
Wow.
But following our interactions with government, and government was honest to us. They were honest to tell us, these are the projects we want to do: the airport, the Air Force base, the hotel, and the city.
Okay.
And they told me the size of land they intend for each of those projects. And it came down to a little below 1,000 hectares. And I said, so why would you take 2,000 hectares from us?
Okay.
So they advised, it wasn't the governor, I interfaced with the chief of staff and the coordinator of the airport. And they reported properly to the governor. And the governor gave approval that they take only what they needed. And so they returned 800 hectares to us, returning 1,025 hectares. Those people you talk about who go on social media to make noise, but they're not going with anybody. They still went and said, no, it's not true. It's only on paper. They're not going to return that land. So government came and the traces were cut a second time, and those areas were cut off. A village like Ikutu, whose land was wholly into that place, was cut off. Their land didn't enter again. Half of my own went back. Half of Opaha went back. Half of Umezuku went back. Because when you have 2,000 hectares and there are 1,800 hectares and return 800, it's about half.
Yes.
So that is the sincerity of government.
And then able to
they have paid.
Okay.
Some people are not satisfied with what they are paid.
Okay.
It's normal.
Okay.
Everybody cannot be satisfied.
Okay.
Like me, in my assessment, I have like several parcels of land, okay, in that place.
Okay.
One of them was so lowly assessed, but I decided not to protest it. Personally, that's my personal decision.
Okay.
Some people protested their own and they were reviewed. They had to go back to the land to check, to remeasure. Okay. Because the attorneys who are supposed to represent us didn't do their work well. That is my own assessment. The attorneys, didn't do
Okay.
their own work
Good,
well.
good.
Then the government consultants were fraudulent.
Okay.
They went and infiltrated that place, filled that place with fictitious names of people who are not in our place, who didn't have land. And when we spotted it, we raised objection. And government set up, committed a panel, yes, to review it. They reviewed it and brought out those names and still gave us the reviewed list. And we went back to our various villages and further reviewed those lists. But during the time of payment, we come to realize some of the people our villagers identified as non-landowners were actually existing people who also own land, but they recognize their names, some of them.
Okay.
But some fictitious names are there, and they are not paid. The argument we are doing with government now is that whichever money is recovered from those names removed,
yes,
belong to our people.
Okay.
Because land was attached to each of those names. Yes. That one is there. The outstanding issue we have with government is not the issue of payment of compensation. Government is paying compensation,
okay,
whatever they agree to pay. The transparency is not 100%.
Okay.
But we won't obstruct development.
Okay.
Okay. But the challenge we have with them now is on the issue of signing of the MOU, and that is the one we will not compromise. Because on the 17th of August last year, we met with government after we have reviewed the MOU in the various communities, and we come up with the landowners version. We met with government on the 17th of August last year, and that meeting was chaired by the chief of staff. The SSG now was actually the one that moderated it, because he was advisor on projects. Emmanuel Meribel, and all that, the commissioner for lands, all of them. We reviewed it and agreed on a harmonized MOU. And up to now, government has not signed that MOU. So that is why we are not negotiating and we are not compromising. But of late, because I convened the meeting of the landowners, where people hear on the social media, just like what you hear about Israel, they are fighting war, they are throwing bombs. It's only those people you see there. When they resume payment of compensation, some people went in their various villages and announced that nobody should go and collect the compensation. The first day, in fact, the people had to break the timetable we made. We agreed with government. Because we wanted to be orderly, village by village. Nobody wanted to wait. All of them trooped into that place. Because I called the meeting and tried to convince our people not to allow government pay compensation without first signing the MOU. People say, no, let us collect our money while we pursue the issue of the MOU. So I want to assure you that as far as that issue is concerned, to the best of my knowledge, I'm a PC man. I'm not Labour man. I'm not in the government of the state. But as far as this is concerned, I feel that government is doing its best. What is holding us and them now is the issue of the MOU, and they will sign it. Okay, sir. If they have gray areas they want to raise, we are ready to discuss it with them. But as for the MOU, they will sign the MOU with our people. Okay, sir. Before we
wrap up the show, sir. Now, do you see the Labour Party in Abia State really giving the APC a good run for their money, and also the PDP, because we are looking at the 2027 election? It's just very close. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that they are going to really stand out to give a good fight, and fielding with the number of persons that they have are ready to come out vie for positions come 2027? Do you see them really giving a good run for the money to the All Progressive Congress?
You don't know me to own any church. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a native doctor. I don't patronize them.
Going by the statistics,
I don't see the future. I say no man sees an inch into the future. But what I can tell you is that APC is incumbent at the national level. And almost the entire Nigeria is in APC today. And APC has done very well at that level. That has reflected in the various states. And that no governor today is coming out to oppose APC. No governor is opposing APC because APC has given each of them something to show on their scorecard. So APC has that incumbency and that record of performance. Now, you can also know wish away that the Labour Party is incumbent in Abia State. And governor has immunity. He has some powers. He has friends. He has contractors. Do you understand?
Yes.
So we are not working on assumption that there will be no opposition. No. They will be working and will be working. But we are looking at the number of people with us. That all the people who work for Labour Party in 2023, I see most of them now in PDP. Sorry, in APC. I see most of them in APC. I see many who left PDP and joined APC, joined Labour. I see many of them coming back, putting a reverse back to APC. So that gives us a measure of confidence that our people have embraced APC enough to run and win elections. If you're talking about run for money, I don't think it's a buying and selling thing. In politics, negotiation and dialogue is the key word.
Yeah.
And in this circumstance, if you look very well in Abia, you find out that APC and PDP are not enemies.
Yes.
In Abia today.
Yes.
APC people, PDP people, most of them defected to APC. Those that are remaining are friendly with APC.
So that means there's an alignment.
So there is an written alignment in Abia. Now on Saturday, sorry, he didn't pay me for this advert, but it's the truth.
Okay.
To push down the point.
Sorry, sir.
But Erondo Jr.
Yes.
is doing empowerment.
Okay.
He's going to give motorcycles to the 65 ward chairman of APC in Abia South and the 65 ward chairman of PDP in Abia South. I'm informed that he's going to give vehicles to LG chairman of PDP in Abia South and the LG chairman of APC in Abia South. Because APC didn't make him. He's just joined APC. But that will tell you that there is no fight between those two parties. PDP has almost disintegrated in Nigeria and particularly in Abia. And what happened is that a few of them have moved to Labour Party. But landslide majority of them are in APC. And the remaining ones are sympathetic to APC.
But we've always had.
I feel that
yes, sir.
Joining those forces will be very dangerous to.
Like what you just said now with this issue of
the government, the party in the state.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. With this issue of empowerment you've been talking about, especially what the politicians have been doing. In recent times, we've been seeing politicians bringing tricycles, we've been bringing buses and sharing rice. It has been a common trait for politicians sharing rice, sharing wrappers, sharing bicycles or tricycles or motorcycles. Don't you think that this should go beyond it has come to a time that this should go beyond the issue of giving material things and bringing the issue of human capital development? That is,
let me tell you,
employment,
let me tell you,
services for people.
You have to look at the level of the people you are working for. Do you understand?
Okay.
For me, that's not my idea. I went to the National Assembly. I gave federal employment,
okay,
136. In one agency alone, I put in 86 persons.
Oh, that's very good.
The Public Complaints Commission.
Oh,
and I even appointed or nominated for appointment the commissioner for 6 years.
Wow.
I built many structures in Abia Polytechnic.
Good.
If you see the auditorium there, I built it as a member of the National Assembly, House of Reps. If you see their ITC, what do you call it?
The ICT.
The ICT building.
Yes.
I built it as a member of that house.
Yes.
I put in 120 computer laptops in that place. That is Abia Poly alone. If you go to Fox Road, you will see the health center. That health center was built by Nigerian Ports Authority. When in 2012 there was flooding, and every state was claiming that they were flooded. I also claimed that Abia was flooded as a legislator. Okay. And when they were given the various things they wanted to do, palliatives and things, sorry. They gave to Abia. And Nigerian Ports Authority also decided to put some of those things. That one came there. And a lot more. But at the end of the day, because I wasn't running a social media thing,
yes,
some people believe that you didn't do anything. Because people want those things. By the time I left, I put 150 motorcycles in the in the budget of 2015. Okay. That was inherited by my successor, and he distributed, and that was the only one he distributed. So, what is this? What is driving this practice of giving those physical things? Is that one, for some people, it gives them
level of understanding.
Level of understanding. For some people, it gives them employment.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
If you have keke, you can drive it. There isn't much white-collar job available.
Don't you think that this
as commissioner for agriculture?
Yes.
As commissioner for agriculture,
good, sir.
I did in ADC, what do you call it?
ADP.
ADP.
Yes.
Fine. 72 employments, 50 graduates, 22 non-graduates. And the governor calls me, and that was the time I was owing. Because ADP is owned by the federal government, the state government, and the World Bank. So it's pretty independent. And the governor said, how are we going to pay? I showed him, I said, this is what I have put in place that will generate the money with which they will be paid. And he approved. And those people. So I believe more in putting people in those places so that for their lifetime, they'll be able to fend for themselves.
Good.
But you can't do it without providing the immediate needs of the people.
Okay.
Those vehicles, like the one that giving them our buses, you can put it into, of course, put it into transportation. Of course, you can't use it as private bus. The motorcycles for transportation, and for some people, for transport, for as a private
user.
As a private user. So you can't roll it out. What I believe is that a combination of the two. The people who benefit from employment, they have certificates.
Okay.
And not the people who benefit from distribution of this. Those who benefit from employment are people who get rice. People are hungry and they want something to eat immediately.
Okay. And
it will be wickedness on the part of government to fold his hands, or people in government when it is available. I know that many of things they distribute, for example, those in power, in office, are things distributed from the center. Especially this Tinubu time. Because he saw that suffering and they started bringing in rice and things for distribution. The sad thing is that when they bring it down here, they don't even tell people. They pretend as if they saved money out of their salaries and allowances to buy those things. So it is these situations that determine what you give at any point in time.
Okay.
For those who have certificates, you strive for opportunities where they exist and push them in. It's not everybody that goes to National Assembly that will know how to secure employment. I used to, in those days, when I come on weekend, you call people, they come and collect their appointment letters and go to the various offices to do their documentation. Exactly. Because I knew how to work. I never visited any MDA as chairman public petitions. But the work I was doing by the grace of God in the committee made all MDAs to patronize me ordinarily. And each time I have to help you, I say, you give me employment for somebody in my constituency, and they all accepted it, and it was very dignifying and very honorable, and it worked for me. But unfortunately, how many people will get that employment? And those who didn't get, even in the distribution of material, those who didn't get will take it that you have not done anything.
As you are pushing, sir, for the 2027 election as a House of Rep member, now, is there going to be a continuity of your agenda, your purpose of trying to meet the grassroots people of their demands, representing your constituency, or is there going to be a renewed strategy of your manifesto in ensuring that you meet to the demands and the demands of the people and their needs?
Yes, renewed, reinforced, enlarged.
Okay.
And now, unlike before, because I was stealing, let me put it that way, in the National Assembly. Yes, I was stealing. Because
okay,
for you to get
you are stealing.
Yes, for you to get that's what I'm telling you.
Okay,
for you to get such number of employments to your constituency means that you denied somebody.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So I was pulling those things down here.
Okay.
For my committee from every angle.
Okay.
For the projects, for instance, the ICT project was a Southeast project.
Okay.
I cornered it, the one in Abiapoli. I cornered it and brought it down. Okay. The health center in Osusun Road.
Yes.
BTC, is it?
BTC.
Was a Southeast project for the Southeast, one for the states of the Southeast.
Yeah.
The 120 computer laptops was one for the states in the Southeast. And I blocked each of them and brought them to my constituency. In so doing, you don't have to go on social media to start telling your colleagues there that this thing came over and you have taken it home. You don't do that.
Yeah.
Now, in the case of employment, when you get such a, remember that I had bosses too. I was just a committee chairman.
Okay.
Yes, I will call my bosses and put one or two for them.
Okay.
And I'll bring the rest and share in my constituency. In such a situation, you know you are stealing. Do you understand?
Okay.
You didn't need to go on social media to start telling them, advertising yourself that you have taken this number from this. Your committee people will fight you and they will impeach you.
Of course.
So, but what I'm going to do differently is that I was officially visible, very visible.
Yes.
Because as chairman public petition, the job I was doing, every day I was the interviewer's delight.
Yes.
Every day I must be covered. But these other ones, I wasn't publishing them. Now, even if I steal it from anybody, I'm going to publish it. I will use the social media. That was what was lacking, that made people not to know exactly how much, how deep I went in representing my people. I'm going there to restore the voice of Aba. Aba lost their voice as soon as I left. Aba lost them. Nobody talks about Aba in that place again. Nobody hears about Aba in that place. As soon as I return, they will know that the voice of
So
Aba,
that means
Aba
you're going back again is to bring back the image of the Aba people.
Definitely.
And are you also going to push for the Aba state like they've been talking about? Because recently the issue of creating the Aba state was somehow dwindled, was killed, or has not been faced again. So are you going back to the House of Reps? Are you going to bring it back again?
Definitely. You know that even in this current exercise that I'm at the forefront of it.
Okay.
I've been the voice for the creation of Aba. Aba happened to be, Aba and Dada happened to be the only two states that met the constitutional requirement in Section 8 of the Constitution, where all the people who ought to sign, signed.
Okay.
For reasons I don't know, they are talking about Anioma and Animoma and all those. I don't know, you would have seen one of my interviews then that went viral. I don't know if you saw it. So I don't know where they're coming from. The Constitution is clear. Having met that stage A of the Constitution of having all the people who ought to sign, the next thing is to order a referendum. There's no shortcut to it, and they will follow it. I will tell you that they're not going to create any state. If they have to create state, they have to follow constitutional process. And being in the National Assembly, if they are going to create state, which I know is very difficult, is very, very difficult if you know, that you need the approval of 4/5 of the state assemblies to endorse the creation of states. So if they are going to create state, they are going to create Aba. Because everybody knows that of all the requests, Aba is the only one that has the economic viability, that has the homogeneity, the cultural homogeneity. That if you want to create a state for Igbo, that the only thing you can create for Igbo is Aba, because Aba is the only city where every Igbo family has a home. Every Igbo family has a home. Not only having a home, every Igbo man has a say in Aba. That reflects in the representation. You know today that the man representing Aba in the National Assembly is from Bende, Ibere. The man representing Aba in the Abia State House of Assembly, Aba Central, is from Anambra. Is from Anambra. The immediate past chairman of Aba North from Anambra. The present chairman of Aba North from Alai Bende. That is how Aba is. It's a free land it's a land where every woman has a full say, and a full stake. So if you want to create a state that will make Igbo happy and they feel at home, it is Aba State. And I believe that my voice will never go dry in demanding and pursuing that cause.
Thank you so much, sir. We want to really appreciate you, sir. Right, Honorable Uzo Azubuike, for coming to the program today. We really look forward to seeing you again in our program again, in the forthcoming program, the Good Governance Hour, because you've done so much exciting analysis with us. He has really been able to give us and digest for us what we need to know, the information, time speed of the political events of the day. We want to say thank you so much, sir,
for
coming to the show. We look forward to seeing you sometime again in the program. And from here, we say, please ensure that you get your voters card and also get yourself registered. And we will look forward for a 2027 very, very free and fair election for the people to rejoice at the end of the day with. My name still remains Professor David Uduma for the Good Governance Hour. Stay clear. Thank you and stay tuned for the next program that's going to come on the show. Thank you.